What is going on, guys? Sir Lewis here. I hope you're having a great day. But in this video, I'm going to show you guys here my massive update on Toshi and Turbo and basically cover both of these coins, which most of my subscribers are both into these coins. So, if you want to stay tuned for Turbo and Toshi, definitely watch till the end. I'm going to go deep into the technical analysis and really cover it like nobody else, right? You guys know that we go deep here and I show you some really deep technical analysis here. And before we even get to Toshi and Turbo, make sure you're holding these coins on a cold storage wallet. I recently just dropped an honest review video on the Trezor Safe 7, as you guys can see right here, as well as the One Key Classic Pure, which doesn't have a battery. Two honest reviews, deep in-depth reviews on these two, which I highly recommend. These are my two Go wallets, okay? But I highly recommend you watch them, and you guys can use my links for the best price, 5% off, okay? Because again, you want to hold them on a cold storage wallet so you can send it to whatever exchange you want to. You have that freedom, and you have self-custody. So stay tuned for Turbo. We're gonna start with Toshi here, but we're gonna cover both here in depth. Right. So we're getting some good signs here, obviously, with Bitcoin starting to move to the upside. And, I've been giving you guys here these updates and showing you that short term, I was bullish, right? It's been looking like we've been consolidating and starting to pivot here, right? It doesn't mean that this is the bottom, but we're starting to pivot to the upside, especially with the bearish sentiment and everyone super bearish recently, the past month or so. It wasn't too, it was kind of obvious we were going to start to move up a little bit here. So on the monthly, we're green here on the monthly so far. We got 22 days left, but let's move here to the 2-week and then the weekly here for Toshi. We can see that we got, we got a green weekly candle. This is our second one here, which ends in 12 days. So it's looking good here. We're extremely oversold on the 2-week, which is another good thing. We've never been this oversold on the 2-week for Toshi. One thing here too I want to note is the fact that Toshi hit exactly my Fibonacci level, okay? And I had this up ever since Toshi, ever since, like, all I needed to have this Fibonacci chart right here. And by the way, you guys can check out my charts, my indicators, all in my WAP. It should be in my description if you guys are interested in buying my indicators and my charts. But you can see all I needed was this and this, and we have this Fibonacci zone right here. I have a very unique way of using Fibonacci, but you can see we hit it, right? We hit it right here, boom, boom. And this is looking like a really nice pivot. If you look here on the weekly, this is a textbook on, what I talk about, finding a pivot and really finding a bottom, right? You can see how we boom, test once, test twice, and we're starting to have this nice rounding out here, right? To eventually test the next Fibonacci level to the upside, which is that 0.5, which brings us to basically around 0005 Toshi, okay? And you can also see on the weekly, we're starting to get that crossover. So the stochastic starting to get that crossover. We're starting to round out here on the weekly. Again, it's not instant. You can see it's been the process of 5 weeks, boom, boom, boom. But you can see this week we're starting to move up, right? So this is very good signs here that momentum is changing to the upside, as you can see right here. So let's go here on the 3-day. We can see on the 3-day as well. On the 3-day, we already started to move to the upside, right? You can see right there. So the 3-day looking also pretty bullish here with the stochastic, very oversold, and putting some higher lows here, right? This is a higher low that we put in right here for Toshi on the 3-day. On the daily, you can see, this is beautiful. It just shows you we're getting so much confluence on why we're bullish here. And this is another signal that we're bullish because on the daily, we're finally breaking above the 2521 MA, which is in yellow and blue, okay? We're finally breaking above it right here. You see that? So we had massive resistance right there, boom. Resistance here again, boom. And then now the third time, we've been kind of flat the last 3 days, but then boom, right? Today, we broke above it. And most likely we're going to close above this and then continue this momentum to the upside, testing the next target, which is around 00044. So I'm pretty optimistic here for Toshi to break out. And again, just be careful. If you're trading this, you want to watch out for 0005 around here because that's the next major Fibonacci level, which, as a coincidence, which is not a coincidence, was right before we had the massive drop right here. So you can see in this Fibonacci level, it was support for basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, basically a week, about a week or so. Support, boom, boom, boom. and then collapse. You see that? So now we're probably going to short squeeze up here to the upside to test it as resistance. Okay. So it doesn't matter if we're bullish or bearish. We're probably going to get some type of resistance here for Toshi. Okay. If we're bullish, we get that resistance and then we break above it eventually. If we're bearish, we get that resistance and we just keep going down, breaking these past support levels like around here. All right. So overall, short term, I'm very bullish on Toshi, and medium term, well, we have to see how we interact with the next Fibonacci zone. Like I said, right? We'll see how we interact with that. But I'm very optimistic here for Toshi. I've been buying here. You guys know I've been telling you I've been buying here, dropping down here. Long term, I'm really bullish on Toshi, continuing this long term uptrend. Okay. So now let's take a look here at Turbo. And Turbo is looking kind of similar too, right? In a way that we're having this massive pivot here, kind of a double bottom, but a massive pivot. Let's start out on the monthly, because on the monthly we are green just like Toshi. We are green here so far on the monthly. We got 22 days left. We are extremely oversold, right? And the good thing here on the monthly, if we can get a higher price here on the monthly from the previous month. I mean, even like this, right, closing above this is a nice reversal around here. This definitely signals to me that we're probably moving up. Okay, we're definitely moving up here, engulfing the previous monthly candle. And right now we're kind of like a tweezer right here, right, a tweezer bottom. So if you do have this type of monthly close, it's very bullish. And you can actually see it on the 2-week. The 2-week, we had a tweezer bottom right there, boom, boom, right? So even though we're down here on the 2-week, we're probably going to move to the upside. So I'm liking the 2-week. Also on the 2-week with the tweezer bottom, you're getting that stochastic crossover in the oversold territory right here. You see that? So bullish signals, bullish signals right there. Okay. I would say this, like the next major target for Turbo, which I'm getting a lot of confluence here with this downtrend, is around here, right? Basically, the 21 and the 25 MA here on the weekly. If you go here on the 2-week, you know, the 21, is this the 21? Yeah, the 21 in blue. Well, we're coming down here right near where this downtrend is. So once we make contact with this downtrend, which is probably going to be near that 21 on the 2-week, the 21 on the weekly, there's just too much confluence around this level right here for Turbo, which is around triples 0030, right? 0030, yeah, anywhere around 0030, 0030. I would say we're probably going to get some massive resistance there. And not as a coincidence too, this is where we had that major bounce right here, right? The major support was the same level, 0030 right there, 0031. But you can see we're testing a past support as a future resistance. So this is major, right? Short term, very bullish. I see us going up there. Medium term, I don't know how Turbo is going to react to this. We can pull back a little bit, but we have to break over it eventually to be bullish and flip it as support again. Okay, because long term, we can have a scenario where we break down, right, do something like this, and we kind of have some type of inverse head and shoulders here playing out for Turbo to eventually go up to the upside, putting in this higher low right here, right, this nice higher low. So this is what I see for Turbo on the, let's see here on the 3-day. I didn't really look at the 3-day. So this is another thing here too on the 3-day. Another big signal is the 21 MA. We're starting to flip that 21 MA on the 3-day as support. You see that? It was a heavy resistance. Now we're flipping it as support, and very soon we'll probably bounce off of it. On the daily too. On the daily, we flipped the 50 MA. You can see we're getting support here on the 50 MA. We could probably break the 50 MA and then bounce on the 21 on the daily. Okay, like right there. But the main thing here is that the 21 was heavy resistance. Boom, boom, right? Even right here, boom. Now we broke above it, bounced on it. Now we're bouncing on the 50. We'll probably break the 50 and test the 21 again, bounce on that, and put in these higher lows, and then we'll continue this uptrend. So I'm very bullish on both Turbo and Toshi short term. Medium term, I don't know. Long term, super bullish as well going into 2026. Again, let me know if you guys got any questions. And if you want to check out my indicators, definitely check out my WAP, which should be in the description. Okay, you guys can check out, there's 3 tiers, right? There's the gold tier, silver tier, and bronze tier. I try to make it so it fits everyone's budget, but you guys can check it out. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.